Daniel Park was having a normal day. Well, as normal as any day could be on a space station floating around a dead moon. He worked as a maintenance engineer on Station Horizon 7, fixing broken pipes, cleaning air vents, and making sure the lights stayed on. It was boring work, but Daniel liked boring. Boring meant safe. Boring meant he could eat his lunch in peace and watch old Earth movies on his tablet. Today, he was crawling through a ventilation shaft in the restricted sector. His boss had told him not to go there without permission, but a sensor was broken and Daniel hated leaving jobs unfinished. The shaft was dark and dusty. His flashlight flickered as he moved forward on his hands and knees. He was thinking about what to eat for dinner when he fell. The vent cover under him broke, and Daniel dropped straight down into a dark corridor. He landed hard on his back, all the air rushing out of his lungs. For a moment, he just lay there, staring up at the hole he had made. "Great," he muttered. "Now I have to fix that too." He sat up slowly, rubbing his back. That was when he saw her. She stood in the shadows, completely still. At first, Daniel thought she was a statue. Then her eyes opened, and they glowed amber in the darkness like two small flames. She was tall, maybe 7 feet, with silver blue fur covering her body. Her face was almost human, but with a flat nose and pointed ears that stuck up from her head. She wore black armor that seemed to absorb the light around it. She was beautiful. That was Daniel's first thought. His second thought was that she looked very, very angry. Daniel said, getting to his feet. "Hi?" The alien woman moved so fast that Daniel barely saw it. One moment she was across the corridor. The next, she was right in front of him. Her hand wrapped around his throat, and she lifted him off the ground like he weighed nothing. Her claws pressed against his skin, sharp enough to draw blood with the smallest movement. "You made me lose my target," she said. Her voice was low and dangerous, like the growl of a big cat. "Do you have any idea what you have done, human?" Daniel should have been scared. Any normal person would have been terrified. But Daniel had never been very good at reading dangerous situations. His brain simply did not work that way. "Sorry about that," he said, his voice squeezed by her grip. "I fell through the ceiling. It happens more than you would think." The alien woman stared at him. Her amber eyes narrowed. "You are not afraid," she said. It was not a question. "Should I be?" Daniel asked honestly. Her grip tightened. "I am Vexra of the Fellerin Assassin Corps. I have killed more than 300 targets across 12 star systems. Warriors run when they hear my name. Entire planets have surrendered rather than face me." "Oh," Daniel said. "That sounds stressful." Vexra's ears flattened against her head. In her entire life, no one had ever responded to her introduction this way. Prey screamed. Prey begged. Prey did not comment on her stress levels. "Are you stupid?" she asked. "Probably," Daniel admitted. "My friend Brian tells me that all the time." Vexra did not know what to do. Her instincts told her to kill him. He had ruined her mission. He had seen her face. These were both good reasons to end his life. But something stopped her. Maybe it was the way he looked at her without any fear. Maybe it was the small, stupid smile on his face. Maybe she was just curious. She dropped him. Daniel landed on his feet this time. He rubbed his throat and coughed a few times. "Thanks," he said. "I needed those neck bones. What is wrong with you?" Vexra demanded. "Many things, according to my mother." Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out a small wrapped bar. "Protein bar? You look like you could use a snack. Hunting targets must be hard work." Vexra stared at the bar in his hand. No one had ever offered her food before. In her culture, sharing food was a sign of trust. It was something families did. It was something lovers did. This human was either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. "You're offering me food," she said slowly. "It is chocolate flavor," Daniel said. "Wow, fake chocolate. Real chocolate is expensive out here, but it tastes okay." Vexra felt something strange happening inside her chest. She did not know what it was. It felt uncomfortable, like a muscle she had never used before. "Your ears are really cute, by the way," Daniel added. "Do they move when you are happy? Like a cat?" That was too much. Vexra hissed at him, showing all of her sharp teeth. Then she turned and ran into the shadows, disappearing so completely that Daniel wondered if she had ever been there at all. He stood alone in the dark corridor for a long moment. "Weird," he said to himself. Then he picked up his flashlight and went back to work. He did not know that Vexra had not gone far. She watched him from the darkness as he climbed back up into the ventilation shaft. She watched him fix the sensor he had come to repair. She watched him seal the broken vent cover with some kind of sticky tape and a cheerful whistle. What kind of creature was this? How could any being be so unafraid of death? Was it bravery or madness? Vexra had traveled across the galaxy. She had studied hundreds of species. She knew their weaknesses, their fears, their breaking points. But she had never met anything like Daniel Park. He interested her. That was dangerous. Interest led to curiosity. Curiosity led to attachment. Attachment was weakness. The guild had taught her that from the day she could walk. But as she watched the human crawl away through the vents, still humming his little song, Vexra made a decision. She would not kill him. Not yet. First, she would study him. She would learn what made him so different from every other creature she had ever met. And maybe, just maybe, she would find out why his stupid comment about her ears made her feel so strange inside. She did not know it yet, but that decision would change everything. For both of them. 2 weeks passed after their first meeting. Daniel went back to his normal life. He fixed broken machines. He ate cheap noodles in his small room. He watched old movies and laughed at jokes no one else was around to hear. He was happy in his simple way, but he was not alone. He just did not know it yet. Vexra followed him everywhere. She moved through the shadows of the station like a ghost. No one saw her. No one heard her. She had spent her whole life learning how to be invisible, and she was very good at it. She watched Daniel wake up every morning at the same time. She watched him brush his teeth while singing badly. She watched him trip over his own shoes and laugh at himself. Everything he did confused her more. One day, she watched him find a small alien child crying in a corridor. The child was from a species she did not recognize, with green skin and too many eyes. Most humans would have walked past. Many would have been scared. But Daniel knelt down next to the child and asked what was wrong. "I am lost," the child said in broken common language. "I cannot find my family." "That sounds scary," Daniel said gently. "What do your parents look like?" The child described them. Daniel nodded seriously, like this was the most important job he had ever been given. He took the child's small hand and walked through the station for almost an hour, asking everyone they met if they had seen the family. Finally, they found them in the market district. The parents cried with relief. The child hugged Daniel's leg. "Thank you, human," the father said. "How can we repay you?" "No need," Daniel said with a smile. "Just having a good day." Vexra watched from behind a food stall. She did not understand. There was no benefit for Daniel. The family had nothing to offer him. He had wasted an hour of his time for no reward. In her world, everything was a transaction. You did things because they helped you survive. You did not help strangers for free, but Daniel did. Again and again. She watched him give half his lunch to a homeless man who slept near the recycling center. She watched him fix an old woman's broken translator for free. She watched him tell terrible jokes to a sad-looking security guard until the guard laughed. Who was this human? What did he want? There had to be something. Everyone wanted something. After a few days, Daniel began to notice her. Not clearly, just flashes of silver blue in the corner of his eye. A glimpse of amber in the shadows. He was not smart about danger, but he was observant about people. "Hey, Brian," he said to his friend one day. "I think someone is following me." Brian Kim looked up from his lunch. He was a nervous man with glasses and a habit of expecting the worst. "Following you? Who? Remember when I told you about the cat lady I met in the restricted sector?" Brian choked on his food. "The one with the glowing eyes and the claws? The one who almost killed you?" "She did not almost kill me. She just held me by the throat a little." "Daniel." Brian put down his fork. "I looked her up. That species, the Fullerens, they are famous. They are the deadliest assassins in the galaxy. Governments hire them to kill each other. The one you met, if she is really from their assassin corps, she has probably killed more people than we have ever met." Daniel thought about this. She seemed lonely. Brian rubbed his face. "Daniel, please. Stay away from her. Hide. Do something." "Why?" "She has not hurt me. Yet. She has not hurt you yet." But Daniel did not hide. Instead, he did something that made Brian want to scream. The next day, Daniel walked into the station's garden dome. It was a large room filled with plants from Earth and other worlds. It was quiet there, peaceful, and sitting alone on a bench, trying to look invisible despite being 7 feet tall with glowing eyes, was Vexra. She tensed when she saw him coming. Her hand moved toward the blade hidden at her side. But Daniel just smiled and sat down next to her like they were old friends. "Hi again," he said. Vexra stared at him. "You know I could kill you before you took another breath." "Probably," Daniel agreed. "But you have not. So either you are waiting for something or you do not actually want to." She had no answer for this. "What are you doing here?" she demanded. "I come here sometimes," Daniel said, looking at the plants. "It reminds me of home. Earth, I mean. I grew up in a city, but we had a small garden. My mother loved roses." He pointed at a bush with red flowers. "Those are roses. They smell nice, but they have thorns." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you are sitting alone looking sad, and talking is better than sitting in silence." Vexra's ears flattened. "I am not sad. I am a weapon. Weapons do not feel sad." "Everyone feels sad sometimes," Daniel said softly. "Even weapons." They sat in silence for a long moment. Vexra did not know why she stayed. She should have left. She should have disappeared. Instead, she found herself speaking. "I have killed many people," she said. "Does that not bother you?" "It makes me sad for you," Daniel said honestly. "That must be a hard way to live. Always taking lives. Never having anyone to trust." "I do not need trust." "Trust is weakness, is it?" Daniel looked at her with those strange, gentle eyes. "Or is that just what someone told you so they could control you?" Vexra felt that strange feeling in her chest again, the one she did not understand. It hurt, but not in a physical way. "You should be afraid of me," she whispered. "Maybe," Daniel said. "But I am not. I just see someone who has been alone for too long." He smiled at her. "Would you like a friend?" No one had ever asked Vexra that question. Not once in her entire life. She did not know how to answer. So she just sat there, next to this strange human, surrounded by earth plants that smelled like a home she had never had. And for the first time in many years, she did not feel like a weapon. She felt like a person. The call came in the middle of the night. Vexra was sitting in her hidden room, a small space she had made in the station's unused storage area. She was thinking about Daniel again. She seemed to do that a lot lately. Her communicator buzzed. She answered it. Agent Vexra. The voice was cold and mechanical. It belonged to her handler, a faceless member of the guild who gave her missions. You have a new contract. I am listening. Target is a human male. Name, Daniel Park. He works on the station as a maintenance engineer. The client wants him dead within 48 hours. Vexra felt her blood go cold. Her claws came out without her meaning to. Why? She asked, keeping her voice steady. That is not your concern. The contract is paid. Complete the mission. Who ordered this? Agent Vexra, you know the rules. We do not question clients. We complete contracts. Confirm acceptance. Vexra closed her eyes. In her mind, she saw Daniel smiling at her. She heard him offering her a protein bar. She remembered him asking if she wanted a friend. No, she said. Silence on the other end. Repeat that, agent. I refuse the contract. More silence. When the handler spoke again, the cold voice had become dangerous. You have never refused a contract. This is your only warning. Accept the mission or face the consequences. Then I face the consequences, Vexra said. And she crushed the communicator in her hand. She sat in the darkness for a long moment. She had just betrayed the guild. They would send someone after her. They would send someone after Daniel. She had made herself an enemy of the most dangerous organization in the galaxy. For a human. For a stupid, smiling, kind human who called her ears cute, she should have felt regret. She should have felt fear. Instead, she felt something she had not felt since she was a child. Before the guild took her and turned her into a weapon, she felt free, but freedom would have to wait. Right now, she had to protect Daniel. She moved through the station like smoke. It took her less than an hour to find out who wanted Daniel dead. A megacorporation called Nexus Industries had put out the contract. Years ago, Daniel's father had been a scientist who discovered that Nexus was testing weapons on alien refugees. He had told everyone the truth. Nexus had ruined his life for it. He died poor and forgotten, but they were not satisfied. They wanted the whole Park family gone. Daniel was the last one left. Vexra felt rage building inside her. Daniel did not even know. He just lived his simple life, helping strangers and telling bad jokes. Not knowing that powerful people wanted him, dead for something his father had done. She would not let them touch him. The guild sent Marcus Stone. He was a Vorthan, a species known for their love of violence. Half his body was metal, replaced with cybernetic parts that made him stronger and faster. He had a reputation for enjoying his work. Vexra found him in the maintenance quarters, moving toward Daniel's quarters. Marcus, she said, stepping out of the shadows. He stopped. His metal eye focused on her. Vexra, I heard you went soft. The guild is disappointed. The guild can burn. Walk away, Marcus laughed. It was an ugly sound. You know I cannot do that. The contract is mine now. And when I am done with the human, I get to bring your head back too. 2 payments for 1 night of work. Then come and take it, Vexra said, and she attacked. The fight was brutal. Marcus was strong, maybe stronger than her. His metal arm blocked her strikes. His enhanced reflexes matched her speed. They crashed through walls. They broke pipes. Water sprayed everywhere as they tried to kill each other. Vexra took a hit to her side that cracked her ribs. She slashed Marcus across the face, taking out his organic eye. He screamed and grabbed her by the throat, slamming her into the ground again and again. You are weak now, he growled, blood running down his face. Caring about prey makes you weak. No, Vexra gasped. It makes me fight harder. She drove her claws into his chest, finding the gap between his metal plates. Marcus made a choking sound. His grip loosened. She pushed deeper, finding his heart. He fell. Vexra lay on the wet floor, breathing hard. Everything hurt. Her vision was going dark. That was when she heard footsteps. Running footsteps. Holy, what happened here? Daniel's voice. Of course. Of course he would come to the one place he should not be. Daniel, she tried to say, but her voice was too weak. He knelt beside her. His hands found her wounds. His face went pale when he saw the blood. Okay. This is bad, but I can fix this. I fix things. That is my job. He was talking to himself, but Vexra found it comforting. She felt him lift her. He was not strong enough to carry a Fellerin easily, but he did it anyway, grunting with effort. Stay with me, cat lady, he said. I never even got your name. Vexra, she whispered. Vexra. That is a nice name. Stay awake, Vexra. I am taking you home. Home. She had never had a home. But as Daniel carried her through the corridors, leaving a trail of blood behind them, she thought maybe home was not a place. Maybe home was a person. He took her to a small room. He laid her on his bed. He worked through the night, cleaning her wounds, bandaging her broken ribs, giving her water when she could drink. He had no medicine, no proper tools, just his hands and his determination. Sometime near morning, Vexra finally fell asleep. And as she slept, a strange sound came from her chest. A low, rumbling sound. She was purring. Daniel did not know what it meant. He just held her hand and watched over her until the sun rose. He did not know that in Fellerin culture, purring for someone was the deepest sign of trust. It meant family. It meant love. It meant she would die before she let anything hurt him. Vexra woke up to the smell of something burning. She opened her eyes and saw Daniel standing over a small cooking device, poking at a pot of noodles that had turned black. Oh no, he muttered. Not again. She tried to sit up. Pain shot through her body. Her ribs screamed at her. But she was alive. She was in a small room filled with personal things. Pictures of Earth, old books, a blanket that smelled like the human who had saved her. Then she heard it. The sound coming from her own chest. That low, rumbling vibration. She was still purring. Horror filled her. She pressed her hands against her chest, trying to make it stop. But the more she thought about it, the louder it became. Hey, you are awake. Daniel turned around with a smile. Half his face was covered in black ash from his cooking disaster. How do you feel? You lost a lot of blood. I was worried. I have to leave, Vexra said, trying to get out of the bed. What? No, you are hurt. You need to rest. You do not understand. She forced herself to stand. The room spun around her. I cannot be here. I cannot feel this way. Daniel stepped closer. His face was confused and concerned. Feel what way? Did I do something wrong? The purring grew louder. Vexra wanted to scream. In her culture, this sound meant everything. It meant she had chosen him. It meant she trusted him with her life, her heart, her soul. It was something Fellerins only did with their families or their mates, and she was doing it for a human she had known for 2 weeks. This sound, she said, pressing her hands harder against her chest. I cannot control it. Among my people, it means what? She looked at him. This stupid, kind, wonderful human who had carried her through the station and stayed up all night to save her life. He was looking at her with so much warmth in his eyes. It means I care about you, she finally said. More than I should. More than I have ever cared about anyone. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled, soft and real. Is that so bad? Yes, caring is weakness. The guild taught me that. If you care about something, it can be used against you. Maybe, Daniel said. But if you never care about anything, what is the point of living? Vexra had no answer for that. Daniel gently took her arm and guided her back to the bed. She was too weak to resist. He made her sit down and brought her a bowl of slightly burned noodles. Sorry about the cooking, he said. I am not very good at it. She ate the noodles. They tasted terrible. It was the best meal she had ever had. While she ate, Daniel told her what he had learned. Brian had been doing research. He found out about Nexus Industries and the contract on Daniel's life. He found out about Daniel's father. I never knew, Daniel said quietly. My father died when I was young. My mother never talked about his work. She just said he was a good man who tried to do the right thing. He was brave, Vexra said. He saw evil and he fought it. That is rare. And now they want to kill me because of it. I will not let them. Daniel looked at her. Why? Why do you care what happens to me? Vexra thought about the question. She thought about all the lives she had taken, all the years of loneliness, all the walls she had built around her heart. Because you saw me, she said finally. Not the weapon, not the assassin. You saw me, and you were not afraid. Daniel reached out and took her hand. His fingers were so small compared to hers, so fragile, but his touch was warm. We need to get off this station, Vexra said. More killers will come. We need to reach Commander Lisa Cho. She runs security here. If we can give her proof of what Nexus has done, she can protect you. And what about you? The guild has marked me as a traitor. There is no protection for me. Then I will protect you. Vexra almost laughed. You? Protect me? Why not? You protected me. Seems fair. There he was again. This impossible human, making her feel things she did not know she could feel. They moved through the station's lower districts, the parts where security did not go. Vexra was weak, but she could still fight. Daniel stayed close to her, holding a metal pipe he had found. It was not much of a weapon, but he refused to let her face danger alone. They almost made it. They were one corridor away from Commander Lisa Cho's office when the ambush came. 5 assassins. Not guild members, but hired killers working for Nexus. They came out of the walls, out of the ceiling, from everywhere at once. Vexra killed 3 of them before they knew what was happening. But she was injured and slow. The 4th one got behind her, aiming a plasma gun at her head. Daniel moved without thinking. He threw himself in front of the blast. The plasma bolt hit him in the chest. Time seemed to stop. Vexra watched Daniel fall. She watched his blood spread across the floor. She watched the light fade from his eyes. Something broke inside her. Something that had been building since the first moment she saw him. She screamed. It was not a human sound. It was the war cry of her ancestors, a sound that had not been heard in 100 years. And then she attacked. When it was over, all 5 assassins were dead. Vexra did not remember killing them. She just remembered the rage and the fear and the desperate need to get to Daniel. She knelt beside him. He was still breathing, barely. Daniel, stay with me. His eyes flickered open. He tried to smile. Blood ran from his mouth. Did I save you? You stupid human, she cried. Why did you do that? Because you are worth saving. He passed out. Vexra gathered him in her arms and ran. She burst into Commander Lisa Cho's office, covered in blood and carrying a dying man. Help him, she growled. Help him now or I will kill everyone on this station. Commander Lisa Cho was a smart woman. She did not ask questions. She just called for medical help. For the next 3 days, Daniel floated between life and death. The doctor said it was a miracle he survived the plasma bolt. They said his heart had stopped twice on the operating table. Vexra never left his side. She sat by his bed with her claws out, growling at anyone who came too close. She did not eat. She did not sleep. She just waited and hoped and prayed to gods she did not believe in. On the fourth day, Daniel opened his eyes. "Hey," he whispered. "You look terrible." Vexra burst into tears. She had not cried since she was a child. She had forgotten how. "You almost died," she said. "You almost died for me." "Worth it," Daniel said weakly. "You have really pretty eyes when you are worried." She wanted to hit him. She wanted to hug him. She wanted to never let him go. Instead, she just laid her head on his chest and let the purring fill the room. She was done running from her feelings. She was done pretending to be just a weapon. Daniel Park had saved her. Not her body, but her soul. And she would spend the rest of her life making sure he knew how much that meant. The ship was called the Wandering Star. It was old and ugly and made strange sounds when it flew. But it was fast, and that was what they needed. Jenny Reyes was the captain. She was a human smuggler with short dark hair and a scar across her left eye. Daniel had fixed her engines 2 years ago, and she had never forgotten. "You saved my life back then," she told him as they prepared to leave the station. "Least I can do is return the favor." Daniel was still weak from his injuries. He walked slowly, leaning on Vexra for support. She had not left his side since he woke up. She did not plan to ever leave his side again. Commander Lisa Cho met them at the docking port. She was a serious woman with gray in her hair and a face that did not smile often. "I have everything you gave me," she said to Vexra. "All the evidence about Nexus Industries. What they did to the refugees. What they did to Daniel's father. I am sending it to every news station in the galaxy." "Will it be enough?" Daniel asked. "It will be a start. The corporation is powerful. They have lawyers and politicians in their pockets. But the truth is out now. They cannot hide anymore." Vexra nodded. "And the men who ordered the contract on Daniel? They escaped. Left the system before we could catch them." Lisa Cho's eyes hardened. "But they are running scared. That is something. It was not justice. Not yet. But it was hoped Brian Kim came to say goodbye." His eyes were red from crying. "I cannot believe you are leaving," he said to Daniel. "Who is going to fix things around here? Who is going to make terrible jokes at lunch?" "You will be fine," Daniel said, hugging his friend. "Maybe you will finally learn to relax. With you gone?" "Never. I will spend every day worrying about what crazy situation you have gotten yourself into. That is fair." Brian looked at Vexra. She expected him to be scared of her. Most humans were. But instead he just nodded. "Take care of him," he said. "He is the best person I have ever known. Even if he is too stupid to know when he is in danger. I will guard him with my life," Vexra said. And she meant it. They boarded the Wandering Star. Jenny Reyes started the engines. The old ship groaned and shook as it lifted off from the station. Daniel watched through the window as Station Horizon 7 grew smaller and smaller. He had lived there for 5 years. It was the only home he had known since leaving Earth. Now he was flying into unknown space with a wanted assassin and a smuggler. His life had gotten strange. "Are you okay?" Vexra asked, sitting beside him. "Just thinking," he said. "A month ago, I was fixing pipes and eating bad noodles. Now I am running from assassins and corporations. Do you regret it?" Daniel looked at her silver blue fur and her amber eyes. At the way she looked at him like he was the most important thing in the universe. "Not even a little bit," he said. That night, they sat together in the ship's small common room. Jenny Reyes was sleeping. The stars moved slowly past the windows. Vexra received a message on her new communicator. She stared at it for a long time. "What is it?" Daniel asked. "A transmission from my homeworld. From someone called Elder Nix. She is a member of the Foreign Council. Is that bad?" Vexra read the message again. Then again. Her ears twitched in a way Daniel had learned meant surprise. She says that news of what I did has spread among my people. Young Fellerans are questioning the guild. They are tired of being used as weapons. They are tired of serving masters who do not care about them. And she says I have started something. A movement. Maybe the beginning of a revolution. Vexra shook her head in disbelief. "All I did was refuse to kill you. Sometimes that is enough," Daniel said. "Sometimes one person saying no is all it takes to change everything." Vexra thought about this. Her whole life, she had been taught that she was a tool, that her only value was in killing, that she would die alone, forgotten, just another weapon used up and thrown away. But Daniel had looked at her and seen something else. He had seen a person worth knowing, worth caring about, worth protecting. And now, across the galaxy, other Fellerans were starting to see themselves that way too. "What do we do now?" she asked. Daniel smiled. "We keep flying. We stay alive. We help people when we can. And maybe one day, we find a way to make things right for good. That is not much of a plan. Best I have got." Vexra leaned against him. She was so much bigger than him. She could kill with a touch. But here, in this moment, she felt small, safe, protected. Her purring started again. This time, she did not try to stop it. "I love you," she said. The words came out before she could think. She had never said them to anyone. She did not even know she was capable of feeling them, but she did. She loved this stupid, kind, wonderful human. She loved his bad jokes and his warm heart. She loved the way he saw the good in everyone. She loved the way he made her feel like more than just a weapon. Daniel's eyes went wide. Then he laughed, soft and happy. "I love you too," he said. "I think I have loved you since you held me by the throat and I offered you a protein bar. That is a strange way to fall in love. Everything about us is strange." She could not argue with that. They sat together as the ship flew through the stars. Somewhere out there, enemies were waiting. The guild wanted Vexra dead. Nexus Industries wanted Daniel erased. The future was uncertain and dangerous. But for now, in this small room on a beat-up old ship, two impossible people had found each other. A human who did not know how to be afraid, and an assassin who had finally learned how to love. Vexra laid her head on Daniel's chest. She listened to his heartbeat, steady and strong. She purred for him, loud and full. "Your ears really are cute," Daniel said, running his fingers along them. She pricked him with her claws. Just a little, but she was smiling, and somewhere in the darkness of space, a new story was beginning.